Why are you voting for Kamala Harris?
Because she is the woman that we need right now.
Is there any specific policies or anything that really makes you vote for her?
I just believe in her.
The woman who thinks she's a cat believes in Kamala, doesn't know anything about her policies, but knows she's our guy or gal, whatever. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants and Satan, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Now, Kamala Harris, democratically elected to be the presidential nominee for the Democrats, democratically elected by the mega donors and people behind the scenes. Hello, Obamas, if you're watching. Glad to have you on board. Make sure you like and subscribe, Michael and Barack. So here today, what I'd love to do is show you a few scenes of people at some kind of Kamala get-together rally kind of thing. And this is just Man on the Street interview where he is getting the thoughts of Kamala supporters. Not one of them seems anywhere close to normal. And I just think it's a good thing to know what kind of lunatics are out there actually supporting Kamala. And by the way, if you're not a lunatic and you do support Kamala, I want you to know you actually are a lunatic. Just my opinion. But first we have to consider this. As you look at the Time magazine cover with this wonderful woman with a lot of Indian heritage in her 23andMe, Glenn Greenwald poses this question. With the new Time magazine cover. The way the U.S. corporate media transformed Kamala Harris from a national embarrassment to a transformative pioneer overnight without even pretending to care about anything that she thinks or believes is a powerful testament to how potent the science of propaganda is. Well, that's not a question, that's a statement. But I think that is a statement worth saying because it's very obvious. She did go from a national embarrassment, still is. But now the propaganda is taking the least popular vice presidential candidate that was such an embarrassment. Of course they're not going to run her to, well, now we're running her. But look at how she's portrayed in the media overnight. Just a 180-degree switch from how we covered her the past 4 years. Just something to keep in mind because the potency of propaganda is strong and we're going to see that working in these cat people and other potentially mentally confused folks who support Kamala. Let's take a look. Coming in hot with more from Cat Ladies from Kamala person.
I just believe in her. I believed in her when I lived in California, and I still believe in her now.
Because she's all about the middle class.
She's all about the middle class. That's funny. That is hilarious. And you gotta love the person sitting next to her fully masked up. Come on, guys. We're still committed to COVID. We're doing it.
Like us and Trump is bad.
By the way, this is another lady in a Cat Ladies for Kamala shirt. Like weird. Like there's more than one of those. It's weird if you think like a normal person, but like also kind of makes sense for Kamala. Cat Ladies, ladies and gentlemen, some of our best and brightest.
Bad.
She's everything we're looking for. She is. She's just everything we're looking for.
She just is.
Peace and love and sharing.
Sharing. Oh, communism likes to share. They don't share much, but they share an equal amount. Does everybody win equally with communism? Nope. Everybody loses equally. We will share the same amount of bread morsels in the bread line with everybody.
Cooperation and healthcare and food for kids. You know, what a crazy idea.
Food for kids. Like we don't feed kids food now or under Trump. Like he's like, no food for kids.
We love her. Yeah. She's amazing. We need her. This country needs her.
The media started telling me I love her. We need her. So I love her. I think we need her. Because the media told me that's what I think.
And Tim Walz.
The Cat Ladies for Kamala. So can you kind of explain that to me?
Well, I think you got it right there.
She's a deep thinker. Cat Ladies for Kamala, explain that to me. Well, you got it right there. Pretty one-dimensional here, buddy. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first I want to tell you something obvious. It's an election year, which means the time has never been more important to be informed, yet the time where they attempt to deceive you has never been more profound. Luckily, Ground News is a change maker that brings transparency back to the media, where you can know where your news is coming from, who's funding it, so you can be informed, not deceived. And if you're like me and you don't want to be a sleeping sheep, head on over to ground.news/JP. Let me show you a few things about why I love Ground News that makes them completely different. Now, as you know, Biden didn't have the best debate ever. So one of the latest reports on Ground News, Biden looks to make the case at the NATO summit that he is still up for the job. You can see the total news sources covering the topic. You can see which of those sources lean left, which lean right, and which are center. And the bias distribution, 53% center. A lot of times it's leaning left, which informs you who is potentially trying to shape the narrative about the subject you're reading about. Then you can see the 44 articles that come up on this topic, which way they lean, left or right or center, and then you can click on those articles and read them on their original source. If you want to be awake but not misled, head on over to ground.news/JP now. And you can hit the link in the description of this video, and when you use my link, you save 40% off the unlimited access Vantage subscription, which is a subscription that I use. And when you use Ground News, you're not only supporting me, you're supporting yourself, and you're supporting the mission of truth, because truth conquers. Now back to the video.
I don't need to go any further than that.
Are you a cat lady for Kamala?
I am a cat lady for Kamala, obviously.
Because I saw you in line earlier with this childless cat lady is voting Kamala. Can you explain the reasoning behind this shirt?
Because I don't have kids. We tried to have kids. We waited too long. We were enjoying our, life. And just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you're a bad person. And she cares about everybody, not just people who don't have kids. What happens if I couldn't have?
There's no logical connection there, by the way. And also, like, if you don't have kids, like, Kamala still loves you. Like, she loves you more if you abort your kids.
A child. What happens if I had medical problems? That's not right. You don't talk down to people because they don't have kids.
Who's talking down to these people?
Guys, are all about it. Us. Everybody. Not just the 1%.
Just the top 1% who's fertile? Now, you might think, well, cat ladies for Kamala, they're a little crazy. Let's see what some of the more sane supporters of Kamala think. And I have no idea how to classify these people, and neither do they. So let's take a look.
Why are y'all voting for Kamala Harris?
I don't want to lose my rights. Like, I'm a trans man and I'm gay and I have been pregnant and I've had an abortion before, and we
gotta break this down. First off, I don't want to lose my rights. So Kamala wants to take away gun rights. She absolutely is infringing on the right to freedom of speech. At least her party is. Bringing us up to speed with this lady. Trans man who is gay, who's been pregnant, and naturally Kamala had an abortion. So trans man, what does that mean? I think it means it's a woman that pretends she's a man. She's gay as a trans man. So I think we're looking at just like a straight woman here. More evidence that she's a straight woman is she's been pregnant. The latest science suggests that only a man can get a woman pregnant and only women can get pregnant. And of course, she's had an abortion. That's a virtue signal right there. So I'm a trans man who is gay, I think means I'm a lady who's straight.
I don't want to lose that. I'm afraid of not being able to be myself anymore because from what I've heard, Trump's America doesn't want me to look like this. So
it might not want you to look like that, but it gives you the right to look like that.
Here today, and that's why I'm voting blue.
What about you?
I've also been pregnant and had an abortion before. I was a minor, and it would have been dangerous for me to properly, it would have been dangerous for me to carry a baby with, personal reasons and everything. I also, I'm very,
Alternative,
and I feel like if Trump were to win, I wouldn't be able to express myself through my looks and everything. And
would she think Trump's first day in office, he's gonna sign an executive order, no face piercings? The propaganda that infects these people that makes believe Trump's elected, so I can't have piercings. I can't be a girl with short hair who says she's a guy. Where do they get this information? Trump's going to come in and take away all my rights to express myself the way I want to. Well, the answer to that question is the media propaganda.
Wouldn't be able to have the piercings or the dyed hair or the tattoos that I want,
Yeah, Trump is very anti-tattoo. That's the first thing he's going to ban in this country.
I would be able to be myself, and my dad's very pro-Trump, and I'm just very
Pro Kamala.
Pro Kamala. Yeah, I don't,
How long have you been pro Kamala? Like a month or so?
it's
Does
just,
that cause a divide at all?
yeah, it definitely does. He thinks that Kamala's going to ruin the country, but I think that Trump would do worse, like a lot. Like, Kamala is going to be good for the country.
What they might also not know is Trump used to be president. And while he was president, not only did he not ruin the country, he made the country better. From objective measurements, less illegal border crossings, better economy. You know, we didn't have infringements and government censorship under him. So I guess if you're a communist, from that perspective, Trump made the country much worse. But like these people, like if Trump gets elected, he'll never leave office. Well, he was elected before, and he very much left office. But the media tells me he's like Hitler. But wait, there's more. And I don't judge books by the cover, but I do acknowledge the cover of books. These are oddly the most normal looking people at this Kamala gathering.
Why are y'all voting for Kamala Harris?
It's ridiculous how anymore it's really hard for people like us, like queer people, and just anyone else in that general umbrella.
But take your time.
Thank you. General umbrella. It's just really hard for us to get rights, and with how the Republicans are handling everything, it's just putting more and more stress on us, like basically taking away everything we have. And it's just important that we feel safe just even living here.
So that's interesting. You know, if you've been attuned to what the propaganda of woke culture says, it obviously wants these people to think that they don't have rights, when in fact all along they've had the same rights that any other person has had. But the propaganda, the woke machine, the leftists, the communists that are trying to take over, what they want these people to do is see themselves as victims. You don't have to be a victim to see yourself as a victim, but it's one of the divide strategies of communism. They know united we stand, divided we fall. So one of the ways it gets people to fall into the trickery of division, so communists have an easier time controlling people who are divided, it gets people to see themselves as a victim and sees the other people as the oppressors. That is a pattern of division that only works if you fall for the temptation that you are a victim. Big problem with that is it's all built on manipulation, lies, and deception from the people who are telling these young women that they're victims. And I would dare say it is very disempowering personally to see yourself as a victim when you're not a victim, because you can't be a victim and a master of your life at the same time. So if these people are busy crusading to be a victim because they buy into the division tactics that are told to them, they are absolutely surrendering so much of their personal power that could help them live a fulfilling life of mastery, contributing not only to their own well-being, filling their own cup, being fulfilled, but also prevents them from positively contributing to the society around them.
Because everyone's been wanting to leave the country.
Well, you know where the door is.
This is the only chance we have to properly fix everything.
But by the way, the logic of that, Kamala is our only chance to properly fix everything. You mean fix everything that Biden screwed up? Did you know your radicals have been in office and controlling the office for the last 4 years? So what is it that you want fixed? Or is the victim mentality telling you that things are broken, that your side did?
I would definitely say that I want to keep my rights. I really do. As a queer individual and someone who's physically disabled and may not be able to do certain things, I feel like they probably wouldn't have accommodations for someone like me, especially.
I can't do certain things. I can't do a double backflip on the ground. I want to keep my rights.
Especially given that I like women as a woman. I want to keep access to my bank accounts. I would like to keep making money. I don't want to be some man's object. I really don't.
And a man probably doesn't want you as his object either. But I want to keep my banking accounts. Does she know her side, the left, is the one that's frozen the accounts of different companies and individuals who were getting a little bit too freedom oriented?
The whole thing with Project 2025 is terrifying.
Have you heard Trump speak on Project 2025? He says, I have nothing to do with it and I don't like it. I'm sure she's better informed than I am.
I read through some of it and it was just insane. It's bad.
But the media told me it was Trump's idea. So there you have it. What I might call some lunatic Kamala supporters on why they support Kamala. A lot of it has to do with them having bought into the lies about Trump, what the right wants to do to them, take away their rights as we take your rights. And therefore, they support Kamala because they believe the lies that have been sold to them about President Trump because of the propaganda machine. One more time, because it is worth a reminder what Glenn Greenwald wrote about the propaganda machine. The way the U.S. corporate media transformed Kamala Harris from a national embarrassment to a transformative pioneer overnight without even pretending to care about anything that she thinks or believes is a powerful testament to how potent the science of propaganda is. And it is potent. And I would dare say you need immunity against the propaganda, and a strong psychological immune system is born out of you doing your own thinking, because when you do that, you can draw a distinction between, oh, this is my thought, this is what I think and why I think it and where that comes from. Great. And then when there's another thought that enters your mind, it looks like a foreign invader. Why? Because it is. But if you're used to being a free thinker, you can draw that distinction. But if you have a weak psychological immune system because you don't have a strong free thinking apparatus, your body can't tell. Is this a foreign thought or is this my own? Well, we will just have lax immunity about it all, and you get invaded by a lot of mind virus. Don't be one of them, my freedom-loving friends. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video. But until then, stay thinking freely.